أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وعظيمنا وشفيعنا وأسوتنا وقدوتنا ومعلمنا محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح للأمة وكشف الله عز وجل به الغمة. اللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا خير ما جزيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا بيديه الشريفتين شربة هنيئة مريئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. Sometimes we have special occasions and special events that we need to talk about. Like when I ask you now, what do you know about Isra wal Miraj? When is Isra wal Miraj? What is the date exactly of the Isra wal Miraj? When do you celebrate Isra wal Miraj? And what is Isra and what is Miraj? Sometimes people say, we celebrate Isra wal Miraj on the 27th of the month of Rajab, right? Is that authentic? Is that correct? Sometimes people say, it is in the month of Rabi' al-Awwal. Is that correct? So the correct answer actually is Isra wal Miraj. Nobody knows exactly what day, nobody knows exactly what year. So some of the scholars said it was before the Hijrah, 5 years before the Hijrah, including An-Nawawi, but the majority of the scholars said it was 1 year before the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so as we're preparing for the month of Ramadan, we see this special occasion that people celebrate on the 27th, especially these days. Many people, they think that, or according to one of the opinions, strong opinions, it is in the month of Rajab, but actually nobody knows exactly when the Isra wal Miraj is, or Isra wal Miraj was. What do we need about? What we need to know about the Isra wal Miraj? So Isra, before we talk about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Isra, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about Al-Isra in Surah Al-Isra. We know Surah Al-Isra is right before Surah Al-Kahf that we read every Friday. How does it start? It starts with Subhana alladhi asra bi'abdihi, which means glory be to Him, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who made Isra. What is Isra? Asra, which means to travel at night. Asra, travel at night. So when I say Isra, what is Isra? It's traveling at night. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it a miracle. This magnificent journey to the Prophet ﷺ was at night. Isra, he traveled from Al-Masjid al-Haram, the masjid, the very first house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the way to the farthest masjid, which is Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. That's the meaning of the word what? Isra. Okay, so Subhanalladhi Asra bi'abdi. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that it's a miraculous journey, and it is. It's a miraculous journey. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned two things here. And it's amazing when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned every now and then two things and compare them together. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Al-Masjid al-Haram, which is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all know Al-Masjid al-Haram, which is a Kaaba. And in the same time he said, Ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa. That means, or actually signifies, the importance of Al-Masjid al-Haram and the importance of Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. Both of them. That is our aqeedah. That's what we need to learn. What we need to teach our families and our kids. Masjid al-Haram and Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. The Prophet ﷺ was asked about المسجد الحرام and المسجد الأقصى. He said, أي مسجد وضع في الأرض أول. The Prophet was asked about the masjid. Which masjid was ever built first on the face of this earth? So the Prophet said, it is Al-Masjid Al-Haram, which is Al-Kaaba. Then the questioner, he said, what's next? What's the next masjid? He said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. See how important it is? Because all the prophets, they worshipped Allah subhanahu. Most of the prophets who came to the Bani Israel, the children of Israel, they worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala around this area, the area of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. But Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa doesn't have a special structure. It's all this, the surrounding area. This is called Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. So the pictures that you see, maybe there's Masjid Qubbat Zakhra, there's another masjid, you see a lot of pictures, but it's actually, when we talk about the Masjid Al-Aqsa, we talk about the entire sacred area. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means. So Subhanalladhi Asra bi'abdihi laylan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Al-Masjid Al-Haram, then he mentioned what? Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. So the Prophet ﷺ also, the same questioner, he said, okay, what is the time between the two masajid? And the Prophet ﷺ said, it was only 40 years. So when the Masjid Al-Haram was built, after 40 years, Masjid Al-Aqsa was built. Okay? So that means those are the most important two masajid, and the third masjid is Masjid al-Nabi, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Masjid al-Nabawi. Okay? Next, so the meaning of the word Isra is to travel at night. لنريه من آياتنا. لنريه من آياتنا. To show the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him in this journey to show him his signs, one of the signs or some signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, miracles from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know all the stuff that happened to the Prophet ﷺ when he went all the way up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this the Rihlat al-Miraj, the journey of al-Miraj. We know many things that happened. We mentioned some of it inshallah. So al-Isra wal-Miraj. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he mentioned the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the beginning of Surah al-Isra, after that he mentioned the Prophet Musa alayhi salam, which actually tells us that there is a strong relation between both of them. Prophet Muhammad and the Prophet Musa alayhi salam, all the prophets. But especially the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Musa and those 5 top messengers, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to reaffirm everything that has come before. Reaffirm Judaism, reaffirm Christianity, and put everything in the right place. Like people left Allah, abandoned worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Prophet ﷺ came back to say, قُلْ مَا كُنْتُ بِدْعًا مِنَ الرُّسُلِ. Like, I'm not coming with anything new. وَآتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَجَعَلْنَاهُ هُدًى لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ أَلَّا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Masjid Al-Aqsa, the Masjid Al-Haram, then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the Prophet Musa, to tell us that our religion is inclusive. Our religion is a universal religion. We believe in all the prophets who came before the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. We believe in all the books. We believe that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the last messenger. So the ulama actually differ regarding this journey, the journey of Al-Isra wal-Miraj. Was it only with the soul, or was it with the body and the soul? So when I ask you, was the journey of Al-Isra wal-Miraj with the body and the soul only? Actually, there's a difference between the scholars. But ulama Ahl Sunnah that we follow, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the majority of the scholars, they said, according to the ayat in the Quran, the verses of Surah Al-Isra, it is a journey with the soul and the body. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a miracle, right? It would be like a dream, right? That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran Subhanallah, Asra bi'abdihi. Asra bi'abdihi, which means clearly that he took his servant, his slave Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the way to the Masjid al-Aqsa and all the way up to Allah, to him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we're asked about this journey, it is our belief is that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken all the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the body and the soul, because it's a miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. Even not only Surah Al-Isra, he mentioned it on Surah Al-Najm, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, عند سدرة المنتهى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, he took him all the way up to the utmost place, the last place that is between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the heaven. Next, before we talk about it, we need to know the reasons behind the Isra wal Mi'raj, or why this time, in this special time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the Prophet, why this time exactly? So we know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had hard times in Mecca, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had hard times telling people about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking to them about inviting them to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many people rejected his da'wah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He spoke about religion publicly and in private, and people rejected the da'wah of the Prophet. Very few followed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And actually they did the boycott with him, with the Prophet 3 years, concentrating them and putting them in a camp, concentration camp for 3 years, until they were eating the tree leaves. So it's very hard. It's getting harder for the Prophet. And in the same year, he lost his beloved wife. He lost his beloved wife Khadija. She was supportive, very supportive to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he also lost his uncle Abu Talib. So many things, like many hardships and difficulties happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this particular time. He went to Al-Ta'if. He realized that nobody's gonna listen to him. We all know the story. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Al-Ta'if to ask people to accept his da'wah, to talk about the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We learn from this particular point that you never ever give up. Never ever be desperate from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yet, some people will talk about you, some people will reject your da'wah, some people will say, hey, these are Muslims, but don't give up. He, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by himself went to Al-Ta'if, and he's inviting people to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the end, what did he do? They sent the children and the kids behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to stone him, to throw the pebbles on him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the extent that he was bleeding. And he walked in a distance that is more than 5 miles to a place that is called Qarn al-Tha'ala. Qarn al-Tha'ala, that place was far from the Ta'if, like more than 5 miles, walking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in the narrations that he was bleeding from his knees. And that hardship, after he left Mecca sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they couldn't allow him in to Mecca again. They didn't want to accept him anymore in Mecca. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam couldn't get into Mecca. So he's standing and waiting over there. And then we know that Jibreel alayhi salam came down and asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what do you want? What do you want? You want me and the angel of the mountains? If you want me to fold the mountains on top of them, I will do it. And he said, no, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maybe their offspring will worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it happened. So after that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to come back to Mecca. 3 days waiting on the borders, or in the borders. He wanted to enter Mecca, but they don't allow him to enter Mecca. That is his beloved town, right? That is the place where he grew up, the place where he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the place that he loves. And they didn't want him to come back. 3 nights, asking people, begging people, let me in, let me in. No. Until a man whose name is Al-Mut'am ibn Uday. Al-Mut'am ibn Uday was a man who's well known in Mecca, and he has a word. And he has many kids. And he is from the same tribe. He said, how come I leave one of my tribes who is out of the Arab that time is have the pride, even though they reject his da'wah, but at the same time he is from Mecca, he is from Quraysh, from the same tribe. So Al-Mut'am ibn Uday brought his kids and he allowed the Prophet ﷺ to come back to Mecca. See how hard the situation of the Prophet ﷺ is. That's the time before Al-Isra wal-Miraj. Now the time of Al-Isra wal-Miraj came. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to alleviate the pain or make it easy for the Prophet ﷺ, to help the Prophet ﷺ emotionally, help him to just alleviate that pain to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? That's when Al-Isra wal-Miraj happened. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, as we said, Subhana alladhi asra bi'abdihi layla. In one night, from Mecca to Medina, to Mecca to Al-Quds, to the farthest masjid, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He is able to do anything. When we hear about that from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's mentioned in the Quran, we believe in everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned and everything that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and it was authentic. So when we know that, we hear that, we say, Subhanallah, innahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. He's able to do anything, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa huwa al-alim al-qadir. Is it difficult? Is it very hard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do it? It's very easy. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ. And Allah said, إِنَّ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. All these things, anything is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very easy. Anything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very easy. He's the one who gives you the life, He's the one who causes you to die. He's the one who gives you the risk, He's the one who prevents you. He's the one who harms you, He's the one who benefits you. So everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our aqeedah. That is very, very important, because many people, they put their trust in other people and they forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ, and put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we said, the ulama differ. Was it by the soul or the soul and the body? And we all know and agree that it was by what? The soul and the body. Next, we learn from this very important point that if all people abandon you, left you, and you're in a hard situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to leave you. Again, if everyone left you and he spoke bad about you and said very bad things about, so many bad things about you, like Muslims and stuff, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still with you. إِنَّ اللَّهُ مَعَكُمْ وَلَن يَتِرَكُمْ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. That Allah is with you. Look at the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now all people left him. In Ta'if, in Mecca, it's like very few believed in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam this time. And at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was with him. وَاللَّهُ يَعْصِمُكَ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Allah promised him, Allah is going to protect you from people. وَاللَّهُ يَعْصِمُكَ مِنَ النَّاسِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there, is always protecting you, always providing you with whatever you want. So in this time, when the Prophet ﷺ came back to Mecca, 6 people came from Yathrib, from Medina, to actually pledge allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ, to enter Islam, to become Muslims. And they went back. Just keep this in your mind, because we'll come back to it in the end. So 6 people came to the Prophet ﷺ and they became Muslims, and they went back to teach their families and your tribes and to tell them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jibreel came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the night time, and he woke him up, and he told him, come with me. And the animal that he used is named Al-Buraq. The name of the animal that we use is what? Al-Buraq. What is Al-Buraq? It's an animal between the size of a mule and donkey, but its stride is very big, very vast. It's very fast and very vast. It can go as much as it sees. You know what I'm saying? So that is called Al-Buraq. That is the animal that they used. He took him to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. There is a miracle here with the time. Because in no time, the Prophet ﷺ went from Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa from Al-Masjid Al-Haram to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. So that's a miracle of the time. So this teaches us the importance of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, as we mentioned at the beginning of Surah Al-Isra. And they mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it was our first Qibla. You know that? You know that the Qibla was changed from Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa to Al-Masjid Al-Haram. For many readers, not our topic. There's a wisdom behind that. We spoke about it before, changing the Qibla from Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa to Al-Masjid Al-Haram. That tells us actually how important Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. We used to pray to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. That's subhanAllah, it's our aqidah with us. Look what is going on and what is happening in Al-Aqsa and around Al-Aqsa. It's very sad for each and every Muslim to watch this and can't do anything except dua. You know, all what we can do is what? Is just dua. But even that, subhanAllah, many Muslims, they don't do. They forget.